infrared.
Infrared?
Yes.
They outlawed those for the Final Four. So they're not allowed to wear those. As a matter of fact, the higher seed has a choice of color, and we pick blue.
Hey, remember the Maytag repairman? Well, he is now no longer the loneliest man in town. I am. Daryl and Howie have hightailed it to New Orleans. I'm heading down there in just a few minutes as Kentucky and Louisville get ready to face for the first time in the Final Four. We're going to talk about it all through the next half hour, and we're going to start it right now in our lightning round. Lightning round on the Red and Blue Review is brought to you by the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety, reminding you to click it or ticket. What's hot for the University of Kentucky? It's time now for Cal and the Cats to go on the attack.
You just want to make sure your team, you're ready to be the attacking team. You're ready to play through bumps and grinds and grabs. You must. You cannot expect the officials to help you. You have to be tough and strong now. I don't really think it matters what they play. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to be tough. They're going to be up in you. And you got to withstand that. If you can't, you can whine to the officials or not. But then you got to withstand them being aggressive and attacking both on offense and defense. If you can do that, now let's play basketball. If you can't, it's a hard game to win.
Actually, Gary, this is going to be one of the most fascinating storylines for Kentucky versus Louisville. Kentucky put up 102 against Indiana. They put up in the 80s against Baylor. Louisville's from the Big East. They're going to want to slow it down. They're going to want to rough and tough and bang and knock heads and hope the referees aren't calling it, which the referees haven't been calling it. So Calipari is warning his troops now, you better be ready to fight. You better not be whining to the refs because nobody's going to be there to help. If you want this game, you're going to have to go take it.
Daryl Burt reporting from New Orleans. Now our chance to check in on Louisville for the first time. And what's hot for the Cards is a dream matchup. They wanted Kentucky ever since on the last day of 2011. The Cats spanked them in Rupp Arena. Now they're going to get a shot at them. And it's really fulfilling a dream that Chris Smith had some time ago. Now, he says he doesn't really remember who won the rematch of Kentucky versus Louisville in his dream, but he knows this: the Cards will battle the Cats.
To be honest, I just remember, us battling and then going down to the wire, and that's all I really remember. Then I woke up sweating.
We start preparing for them, and everybody's real focused on the game, and it's a huge game for the state. We're just really focused and happy to be there and excited to play them.
For Louisville, it really is a dream come true. You think about Chris Smith saying that he had the dream that they were going to play Kentucky in the Final Four, and that dream has come true. You heard him say that he didn't remember who won. I wonder if that's revisionist history or if he actually doesn't remember who won. All he knows is that they competed hard. I fully expect that from this Louisville team. They're going to compete hard, and they're going to get after Kentucky. Kentucky is by far the favorite. It's kind of their tournament to win, but Louisville's not going to go down that easy.
Howie Lindsay reporting for us down in New Orleans as the Cards get ready for a Final Four matchup against their nemesis from the University of Kentucky. And one of the things that Cal has been able to do through his tenure at the University of Kentucky, he seems to have found just the right way to punch just the right buttons. And when it comes to this game, Kentucky versus Louisville, we think of it as a rivalry. Cal is trying to convince the Cats to just think about it as the next game.
They've been pretty good. I had one guy came into my office, so we've got a little work to do, because he said, I just got back and we're thinking about it. Man, we really want to win this national title. You can't think that way. You got to think about playing basketball games. Forget about the tournament. Forget about the title. Just play back. We got a basketball game to play Saturday. Just worry about that. And so, I've got to get these guys in that frame of mind, because you just want them letting loose and playing. When you watch my team, I want you to say they're having a ball playing. They're having a ball. Look how they pass to each other. They fly up and down. They're having a ball. And if that's the case, then, I like our chances.
Actually, John Calipari has his work cut out both ends, coming and going. On the front side, you've got Louisville, for crying out loud. You've got to worry about how your players are going to react to the rivalry. And everywhere they go on campus, all they hear, beat Louisville, beat Louisville. They've got that working on them. The flip side, they're the favorite to win the national championship, so they've got that on their mind, how they're going to win the title. Calipari's trying to block out both front and end and say, focus on basketball. If you do that, we'll be just fine. That's obviously easier said than done, and they haven't even got to New Orleans. They're just on the way, and they haven't even got close to the game build-up and all the hype that's going to come with that, and all that. Maybe you turn off the TVs. I don't know. You lock them out, but they got to be able to focus on basketball alone And as hard as it is, what Calipari says, treat it like just another game. Good luck with
Hey, we're going to talk a lot about that game on the last day of 2011 as we look to the first game of the Final Four. But honestly, I don't know how much we can really learn from that game preparing for this game, because these teams are totally different. Take Louisville for an example. Based on what happened on New Year's Eve of 2011, the guy who was not hot would have to be Shane Behanan. He got a couple of early fouls, he got a technical, spent a lot of time sitting on the bench. He needs to play a lot better, and that's going to be easy to do compared to how he did in the first game. But he's got to play a lot better this Saturday night.
Shane is a freshman, and he, like most freshmen, he'll make some defensive mistakes. But when we had to go man-to-man, and we had to have him make some adjustments that he's not used to, he did a great job defensively for us in switching and pick and rolls and locking people down, and then took over the game in tough offensive situations. So he's a valuable asset to our team, and he's a terrific freshman. But he is a freshman, and he did carry a big load for us, and you expect freshmen to get better as the season has moved along, and he has. And he's just scratching his potential. He's going to get so much better down the road, like August.
Shane Behanan was certainly who's not in that first matchup. You know, he had those 3 fouls earlier, one of them being a technical, and had to sit out for most of the first half and part of the second half. It was an extremely frustrating performance for that young kid. He has grown immensely since then. I mean, you just think about him having the confidence to make that shot late against Florida. A little turnaround jumper. He says he channeled Kobe Bryant. He was thinking at the time, what would Kobe do? How about that for a freshman? My goodness, how he has grown into this Louisville offense is going to make a big difference in the game Saturday night. I think Shane Behanan is a guy who could hold his own against a guy like Terrence Jones, who is extremely talented. So I think Shane Behanan could be a difference maker in this game, but he was certainly who was not hot in the first matchup.
Well, Planet Red and Planet Blue are the talk of the USA this week, with 2 teams in the Final Four, 2 rivals facing each other. And of course, the national media is going to make fun of us. They're going to mock us because we're a bunch of hillbillies playing basketball. You heard about the skirmish a Kentucky and Louisville fan got into at a Georgetown dialysis clinic. Well, this is a rivalry among the fans, but this is, remember, the semifinal of the Final Four.
And I'll say this again, whether you win or lose, it does not matter if the school's 10 minutes from you or 1,000 miles. It really doesn't matter now. This is not, now for our fans, you know, Louisville fans, Kentucky fans, oh my gosh. But the teams, I can't imagine that Louisville's, they want to win the game because they want to advance. We want to win the game because we want to advance. And that's, you know, we're preparing, they're preparing. But literally, I'm telling you, I'm not worried about it.
Okay, I will give John Calipari this much. Kentucky wants to win so it can compete for a national championship on Monday night. Louisville wants to win so they can advance and compete for a national championship on Monday night. I will give you that much. That's the baseline. That is fact. However, to say it doesn't matter who you lose to, I'm not buying that. It would hurt to lose. It would kill you, and it would kill your fan bases to lose to Louisville. To get this far, to be the overall #1 seed, and then to get knocked out by Louisville, a team you've already beaten, a team that's a 4 seed, a team that's your bitter rival, that is lucky just to be here. They shouldn't have come back against Florida and then let them take you out. No, that would haunt you for a long, long time. Personally, you'd never admit it. The fan bases would have, it would go on forever. And
Darryl, you're right. I'm telling you, if Kentucky, the #1 seed, loses to the rival in the Final Four, you're going to see 30,000 Blue fans doing the low crawl all the way back to the Commonwealth, and that is not a pretty crawl at all. Well, the buzz, if you will, on the University of Louisville side of this thing has to be Russ Smith. You remember in that game back on the 31st of December, Russ Smith was the only person Kentucky couldn't stop. Not another Cardinal scored in double figures. Russ Smith had 30. In the Elite 8 game against Florida, he had 19. Shane Behanan and Chris Smith say that Russ Smith will be the difference against the Cats this time, too.
Throughout this season, Russ has, he's played tremendous, and if it wasn't for Russ, we probably wouldn't have won many games. You get frustrated at times, but you'll be more happy with him than, frustrated.
Hopefully, just try to key on Russ, leave everybody else open. So we can take it.
All of Louisville has been buzzing about Russ Smith, I think, for the entire season. From the time he scored, 29 points down in the Bahamas to the time he scored 30 against Kentucky in the first matchup, Russ Smith is really the X factor. He's a guy that you just can't account for. But it was interesting to hear Billy Donovan say that, when you game plan against these guys, you don't know what to game plan for Russ Smith because he doesn't follow any kind of playbook. He's not running plays. It's so frustrating for the coaches to coach, but it's very frustrating for the opponents to try to scout because you just don't know what Russ Smith is going to do. He's a lot of fun to watch, and I think the teammates are starting to figure out that he's a lot of fun to play ball with.
We're going to jump into our game time storylines, and there are a bunch of them, including why this year's Louisville team is like last year's Kentucky team. And you're going to hear from a former Lexington resident who's going to tell us why it'd be really dangerous to be a Cardinal fan in UK's hometown. As we head to the break, Daryl Bird wanted me to remind you that as you follow your Cats at the Final Four, go to the catspaws.com website.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, check out Allstate Ford's pre-owned inventory at allstatetrucks.com. Large selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Also, a nice selection of Ford-certified pre-owned vehicles. Allstate Ford on the Watterson at Poplar Level Road.
Hi, I'm Kevin Renfro of the Becker Law Office. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma or lung cancer, please call us. Mesothelioma is a cancer caused by asbestos, used in construction, power plants and factories, ships and towboats, and in auto brakes. Call the Becker Law Office. We're committed to helping asbestos victims and their families get the compensation they deserve.
Serious, experienced, results. Call the Becker Law Office for a free evaluation. Just dial 3s.
It's Chevy Truck Month, and now is the time to get your new truck. Bachman has more Chevy trucks than any other dealer, all at fantastic prices. You'll get every Chevy incentive plus exclusive Bachman discounts during Chevy Truck Month. Tremendous selection of Silverados and every dependable Chevy truck. Plus, you save more during Chevy Truck Month with exclusive Bachman discounts. All Chevrolets are created equal. Bachman makes the difference.
They'll see you before you see them. Cops are cracking down on drinking and driving. Drive sober or get pulled over.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
The 2012 Bluegrass Golf Tour Card is available now. Play 8 great courses for one amazing price. Call 502-964-2121 or go to shop21live.com to get yours now. Hurry, they won't last long.
Our What Makes a Champion here on this Final Four special is brought to you by the Ali Center, the home of the champion, Muhammad Ali. And Jenny Conkey says one of the champ's core values is dedication.
Muhammad Ali once said that champions aren't made in gyms. Champions are made from something they have deep inside them, a desire, a dream, a vision. What makes a champion? Dedication. Come learn more at the Ali Center.
It really doesn't take that much dedication to be a U of L fan in Louisville, but Rick Pitino says it takes a lot of dedication to be a U of L fan in Lexington.
Well, there's 500,000 Kentucky alumni in this town. There's a million people, so it's different. Now, if you go to Lexington, where, if someone had a Louisville jacket on, they'd be killed by 12 o'clock at night. So it's different.
Well, it may not be that bad to be a Louisville fan in Lexington, but what I hope happens in this Final Four is that the national media and the nation sees a unified Commonwealth inside the Superdome on Saturday night. The last thing we need to see is a poor representation from the Louisville or the Kentucky fan bases, and I don't think we will. Honestly, I think the folks that can dole out the cash to make this trip to the Final Four are not the kind that are going to break off a bottle and a half and go scraping at each other in a bar. So hopefully, no matter what happens, Kentucky or Louisville wins. Who really wins on the other side of this game, who really turns out to be the champion, is the Commonwealth of Kentucky, who proudly now have half of the teams into the Final Four. Well, it's time now to jump into our Game Time storyline. Our storylines include this week, U of L is like UK last year, Shane Behannon on MKG, and Russ Smith and the Cards.
Well, we've got a court in here that's 6 feet off the ground. We've built one. Only Kentucky can do that. I'm not sure if we're allowed to do that. I didn't ask anybody, but we're playing on an elevated court right now in our practice facility.
And you know what Cal's talking about? The word is that the configuration of the court in New Orleans this year is going to be as it was in Houston last year. And you remember that was one of the worst shooting courts in NCAA history. Let's hope that if that configuration is true, that the players this time will have a better time adjusting to the very difficult shooting environment that they're going to find down in New Orleans for the Final Four. Well, let's jump into Game Time storyline number one. It's really interesting that Cal says he sees parallels in this Louisville team's surprise run to the Final Four, just like last year's Kentucky team made a surprise run to the Final Four.
Yeah, and they stuck together, man. They stuck together. You know, the winds were blowing and ship was rocking and the water was coming, and they stuck together and they held their ground, and that's why it's going to be a very hard game for us to win. Look, it's the challenge of it. They've got terrific players who are competitors that play tough and rough and physical. They're coached by a guy that's been there before, who they're going to be prepared. If you don't think they're going to be prepared, you're not thinking right. I mean, they will be. And it'll be a hard game. And hopefully we're going to come in at our best. They'll come in at their best, and let's see what happens.
I think it's fascinating, and I asked Calipari about that this year's Louisville team is very mindful of last year's Kentucky team. They lost all those games on the road. Things were getting tough. They were 10-6 in SEC play. 4 seed, fan bases, okay, we're not going to compete for a national championship this year. They held it together. They put it together under the microscope that is UK, went to the Final Four, an incredible run. Well, turn around and look, what's Louisville doing? They went through a ton of rough rides. They couldn't even get to 50 points per game. A lot of people in the U of L fan base saying maybe Pitino should hang it up. Now look at them. They win the Big East. They're sitting here in the Final Four with Kentucky. So it's very interesting to compare, and I'm sure Calipari will be able to draw on that. Dron Lamb, Terrence Jones, Darius Miller, who went through all that, can draw on the experience of, hey, we know what it's like to put it together and to get on that roll at the end of the year. Here's what you have to do to stop it. That's where their work is.
Daryl Bird of the Catspaws reporting for us from down in New Orleans, where the Final Four is going to be contested this week. Kentucky and Louisville, Ohio State against Kansas. And for Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, he clearly is the heart of this Kentucky team. And Louisville Shane Behannon says MKG is not only ready for the Final Four, he's ready for the NBA.
No, he's real good. I mean, from the first beginning of the season, I think he'd have grown too. So, I mean, to me personally, what they project him to be top 2 pick in the draft, I mean, that's true, and I think it is. I mean, there's areas you need to work on, but other than that, he got it.
It is absolutely going to be a storyline in this game as to what Kentucky's freshmen do and Louisville's freshmen do. Shane Behannon, of course, is the big one there. But you look at on Kentucky's side, they've got so many guys who have never been on this kind of big stage before. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist is one of those. Anthony Davis is another. Teague is another. I think there's an immense level of respect from Shane Behannon to MKG. Those guys know each other well. They've played with each other before on McDonald's All-American games and that kind of thing. And there's some rivalry there, certainly. You think back to when they were in the McDonald's All-American game together, and you had those 4 Kentucky players there, and you had the couple of Louisville guys there with Wayne Blackshear and Shane Behannon. They're smack-talking back and forth between each other. That's what's fun about this rivalry now. There's so much young talent on both of these teams, and it's going to be fun to see how it's going to play out in the Superdome. New Orleans is a big-time stage, and these freshmen are either going to wilt under that pressure or come up big under that pressure.
Howie Lindsay of CardinalSports.com reporting for us out of New Orleans. One of the things that the Wildcats will have to do this weekend is to defend a wild card, that being the skittering Russ Smith.
Does it? Well, what did he have on us last time? 30? So whoever guarded him last time probably won't guard him this time. Do something different. But they have, look, not only can he get 30, Siva can get 30. They've got guys, Dan can hurt you inside. Bohannon, what they're doing with him is they're playing mushmouth with him inside. He's doing a heck of a job. I mean, the baskets he made late against Florida, and you got to box him out. If you don't box him out, he's going to wedge you right into the cheerleaders. So you either got to, the shot goes up, find him and wedge with him, or you're going to ask for the pom-poms because you're going to be pushed all the way under the basket. And he does a great job of it. But Curry could go for 30. I mean, they're probably going to take 23s. They're making threes. It's a hard game for us.
Thought it was interesting at this point in the show to kind of go behind enemy lines and take a look at what Calipari thinks about the actual Louisville players. Russ Smith went off for 30. He has no clue where he's going. How do you defend that? Anybody on that team can get hot. It sounds like Kentucky, doesn't it? Anybody on any night can go off for 25 to 30 points and lead you. You've got to figure out to make sure that doesn't happen, and if they start getting hot, how to shut that down very quickly. And it obviously offers a lot of compliments. He likes Siva. He likes Shane Bohannon. Tried to recruit Shane Bohannon, so he's very complimentary of Louisville because he knows it's a team that's hot right now, and you don't want to do anything to stoke the fire anymore by disrespecting them anyway. They're a good team. They got to figure out how to shut them down. Be advisable. Take them out of the game early. That would be the best thing Kentucky could do.
Rick Pitino has led 4 teams, or at least, let me restate that. 4 different decades, he's led teams to the Final Four, and of course some of those are multiple trips, like in 96 and 97 with Kentucky. So this guy knows Final Fours, and he typically says what gets a team to the Final Four is great outside shooting. Well, this Louisville team doesn't do that, so they had to find a different way to get to New Orleans.
I've always believed you have to be able to shoot the basketball to get to the Final Four. You have to be able to shoot. So this team is not the greatest shooting team we've gotten this. So it is probably even a bigger surprise to Providence because of that element. I believe shooting is a very, very important factor to getting to the Final Four. And we've done it a different way. So this team has great character. They work together. I think the adversity that they've been through, being down in a ball game late doesn't bother this team at all. They've been through the mill from an adversity standpoint. So they really fight hard all the time.
It's fascinating to hear Rick Pitino talk about that this isn't a good shooting team, and it really hasn't been for the most of the season. Every now and then they've had some big games where they've hit a whole bunch of threes, but that's not really this team's forte. I think they are founded on defense. That's what's going to get them past Kentucky if that's what's going to happen. It's not going to be shooting lights out. I think that's what Vanderbilt did. I think that's what Indiana did. If Louisville's going to win this game, they're going to have to invent a whole new script on how to beat Kentucky. That's a little scary for Louisville fans, because essentially you want to follow somebody else's script on how to beat a team, but Kentucky doesn't have a whole lot of losses, and really the teams that have beat them have been all about shooting lights out. So that's not going to be what Louisville's going to do. It's going to be about defense. It's going to be about turning them over quite a bit and using those guards to really press Teague and Deron Land.
John Calipari has been in the sights of the national media since his days at Massachusetts and Memphis and, of course, now at Kentucky. But Cal issues those guys a warning as they head down to New Orleans. You'll hear that when we come back as we head to the break. If you want the scoop on the Cards on this very surprising run to the Final Four, Howie wants me to tell you, please go to CardinalSports.com.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, check out Allstate Ford's pre-owned inventory at AllstateTrucks.com. Large selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Also, a nice selection of Ford-certified pre-owned vehicles. Allstate Ford on the Watterson at Poplar Level Road.
Hi, I'm Kevin Renfro of the Becker Law Office. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma or lung cancer, please call us. Mesothelioma is a cancer caused by asbestos, used in construction, power plants and factories, ships and towboats, and in auto brakes. Call the Becker Law Office. We're committed to helping asbestos victims and their families get the compensation they deserve.
Serious, experienced, results. Call the Becker Law Office for a free evaluation. Just dial 3s.
It's Chevy Truck Month, and now is the time to get your new truck. Bachman has more Chevy trucks than any other dealer, all at fantastic prices. You'll get every Chevy incentive plus exclusive Bachman discounts during Chevy Truck Month. Tremendous selection of Silverados and every dependable Chevy truck. Plus, you save more during Chevy Truck Month with exclusive Bachman discounts. All Chevrolets are created equal. Bachman makes the difference.
They'll see you before you see them. Cops are cracking down on drinking and driving. Drive sober or get pulled over.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
The 2012 Bluegrass Golf Tour Card is available now. Play 8 great courses for one amazing price. Call 502-964-2121 or go to shop21live.com to get yours now. Hurry, they won't last long.
What needs fixing on the Red and Blue Review? Brought to you by Doug Jones Home Improvements.
Cal warned the media this week that if they're fixing to attack the UK program, they're fixing to meet the wrath of the UK fans.
If you're going to attack Kentucky, just be right. If you have an agenda for another coach, to do it for another coach, to create something, I'm just telling you, piranha, they'll come and eat your yard, your house. These people are nuts.
Cats and the Cards in the Final Four. We'll track it for you right here from New Orleans on the Red and Blue Review. The Red and Blue Review has been brought to you by PNC Bank, Allstate Ford Truck Sales, and the Muhammad Ali Center.
The 2012 Bluegrass Golf Tour Card featuring Chariot Run, Bardstown Country Club at Maywood, Rosewood Country Club, Indian Springs, Cave Valley Golf Resort, The Falls Golf Resort, The Bull, and Stonecrest Golf Course is available now. Get your golf tour card and play 8 great courses with cart for one low price. Call 502-964-2121 or go to shop21live.com to get yours now. You can play anytime, but you must get your golf tour card now.